Hello there, welcome back to Jennie Designs with Paper. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. I'm working on the mid-month mini mission for January. So get comfy and let's get crafty. This year, the mid-month mini mission started out with the phrase, a little birdie. So I am going to create a tag using the idea of a little birdie. Check out what I did. The first thing I did was pull a piece of chipboard. This is actually the backing to a pad of paper. And I was able to get four 4x8" tags out of the back of the paper. So 3 across like the bottom and 1 across the top horizontally. So the first thing I need to do for my first tag is to put something on it, right? I have in my stash this really old paper from Stampin' Up! It has a whole bunches of birds on it. And I thought, what a better opportunity to use this paper than today. I don't know how long I've had it, but obviously it's not one I use very often. I'm going to adhere the pattern paper down to my tag with this Oohoo glue stick. I'm just going to go ahead and flip the paper over so the glue is going on the back side for starters. And then I'm going to add glue to the edges and then in the middle. And then I can flip this tag over, kind of sort of trying to get it lined up straight up and down, but not super concerned if it doesn't. I didn't worry about trying to line it up in the corners either because I hand cut these tags. They may not exactly be plumb or straight. Once I go ahead and really well put a lot of pressure on that pattern paper so that it's nicely adhered to my tag, I'm going to pull out my long scissors. These are the Tim Holtz shears that are non-stick and the really long ones. And just trim the pattern paper off around my tag. Having done this today, I think it probably will be easier and will be more likely that I will just use my straight blade on a cutting mat to do this in the future. Because when I got around to putting the paper on the back side, it was a little bit hard to see. And you'll see why in just a second here. But also, it's kind of fidgety to have the paper stick into the scissors. Even though the scissors, wowzers, are no stick and the glue won't ruin them, it does get to be kind of a pain. So I've decided to use the striped paper up for the back side of my tag. So I am going to just add some more of that glue stick to the back side of the tag. I should have flipped the paper over in case I got extra glue on the paper, but it's okay. It's the back. And I almost glued it down so the bird side would be showing again. I was like, oh yeah, don't do that. And I just kind of nestled that the top part of the tag up into that cut off edge so there would be, less waste. And then I pulled my scissors out and tried to cut it again. And this is where it got a little bit tricky because I'm seeing birds in cages on birds in cages. And yes, they're going different directions, but it still kind of made it hard to see the edge of the tag, which is why I thought that maybe a straight blade, like I had that little Fisker's finger knife or an X-Acto knife, would be a better fit for trimming off the pattern paper. I do feel like I probably took a little gouge out of the side of my tag there, but if you have watched Mike's video for his first tag of the year, he said that he's going to focus less on perfection this year. And I think that's a fabulous idea when you're crafting because if you're searching for perfection, words are hard. If you're searching for perfection, you will always feel that you fell short. Okay, off my soapbox a little bit now. I'm going to go ahead and finish trimming that up, and then I'm going to clean up my desktop and punch the hole in the top of my tag. So this is my crocodile. I am using the bigger of the 2 hole punches, and I have set the depth of the punch to half of the allowable space on the crocodile. So all of my tags will be the same as long as I remember to set the gauge. My next step is to add some archival ink to the edge of the tag. This just kind of gives that finished look, but it also hides any uneven edges between the 2 pieces of pattern paper. It kind of hides that white core because one side of my tag was white. The other side was regular cardboard. There we go. So I'm just adding a little bit of, this is potting soil archival ink with a foam blending tool. And I am going to go over and do the back side as well. And that pattern paper, the stripes are making my camera just freak out. It does not know where to focus and what pattern they actually are. It is dark and gray and cloudy and rainy here where I am this morning when I shot the footage. There we go. And so my inside lights are just not even helping. I mean, they are. It would be very terrible without them, but usually I have a little bit more light coming in my craft room. The next thing I want to do is take this stencil. This is a Catherine Pooler stencil, and I'm going to mix up some of this Crafters Workshop modeling paste. This is the light and fluffy texture paste, and I'm going to mix it with some acrylic paint. This acrylic paint is called Lumiere by Jacquard. It is one I got off of Amazon. And it is kind of a pinkish red, not really fuchsia, with some gold mica flecks in it, or that gold iridescent. The color is actually called Metallic Russet. So it is more of a rust color, reddish pink, than a fuchsia pink, which is okay. All things being what they are, I like it. It works for me. And here I'm showing you the color on the paint pot, like you can even read those words. Now, I picked this stencil because it looks a little bit like bird feathers. And I want to take one corner of the stencil and put that texture paste through just one part of it, kind of like a feather plume, or I'm not trying for exactness or anything. I mean, this is texture paste through a stencil, and a very detailed stencil, so it would be a little weird to try and go perfect here. And then I took the stencil up to the tip of the tag, and I'm using that same section just so that I get that same kind of feathery look in a different part, or on a different part of my tag. And then I am going to put this aside to dry. I am going to clean up my desk, put my stencil and my knife into water to soak, and now it's time to move on. So my focal point is based on a quote, actually a photograph, an image I saw on Pinterest. And the image was a flamingo and a peacock looking at each other. So I have this blue doily that I want to put behind my flamingo. And I don't love it on the left. I don't know why. I think it's because the flamingo is facing left. So in my brain, he has to be more to the right, or she has to be more to the right. But this flamingo I created using a Spellbinders die set. And then I put a googly eye on it because why not? Googly eyes are awesome. And yes, I might be the kind of person who, if I ever got up before my children, went into the fridge and put googly eyes on all of the things. Just saying. I decided that even though it's covering up, that doily is covering up some of my texture paste, I am going to go ahead and stick it on the right. I just feel like it's a better composition for the direction in which the bird is facing. So the focal image I decided on was based on an image I saw on Pinterest that had a picture of a flamingo and a peacock looking at each other. And the quote that went with that was so perfect for this month's prompt that I knew instantly, when the little birdie told me, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to create a tag that was bird themed with this flamingo on it. So then all I had to do was cut out the flamingo and figure out all the other parts and pieces. And I know I haven't told you the quote yet because I'm waiting. I want to adhere my flamingo down on top of that doily first. I did glue his little legs onto the back, but it was taking a long time for that glue to dry because those legs are very spindly. So I added a piece of purple washi tape on there just to keep them down. And I have cut this flamingo out of pink cardstock, and then his wing, or her wing, whatever, its wing, is a pink glitter paper. And I cut the legs and the beak out of some black kind of pearlescent paper. I'm going to go ahead and trim off the part of the doily that is overhanging. I did not put glue on all of the edges of this doily because There's enough there that it will keep it in place, and if the edges lift up a little bit, no big deal. I am going to put a little bit more of the brown archival ink on that edge, just with whatever ink is left in the tool. And then I'm going to clean off my space and pull my quote into frame. And I pull it into frame pretending again that you can read it because I've typed it small to fit on this frame. The quote reads, "You can admire someone else's beauty without questioning your own." And I thought it was super cool that they had this image that I saw, had this peacock and this penguin, both beautiful birds in their own right, looking at each other. And that quote just sat with me. I remembered it. I didn't even pin it to one of my boards. I just remembered the image that I saw. I am going to go ahead and pull my ink pad out again and ink up the edges of this quote so that they have just a little bit of color to pull them off the background of the tag just a little bit. This tag is interesting. I'm not using any gel medium or fluid medium. I did use texture paste. I didn't do any stamping on it. So this is kind of a new version. I did decide I wanted to do tags for the mid-month mini mission this year because that's how Mike makes them. They're mini missions. And I have a whole bunch of book tag the rings, the open and close that I bought for, years and years and years ago when I was doing the tag-a-day prompts with the Craft Test Dummy channel. So yeah, years and years and years and years ago. So I've got all these rings left, these book rings left. And I don't have a die big enough to create a 4x8 tag, but a 4x8 tag was definitely not that difficult to hand cut. So now that I have ink all over the edges of all three pieces of my quote, I am going to go ahead and just lay it down right on top of my texture paste there in the top left-hand corner. Little tiny space in between each piece of paper. There we go. I think I've said about 45,000 times today. Sorry for that. And then the tag is nearly finished. So this whole video is in real time. It is edited just for cleanup, removing the cleanup because nobody likes to watch you clean up. Okay, that's not true. One of my sisters loves to watch those videos where they're detailing cars and washing siding off houses. Like that's her relaxed thing. Anyway, here is the prompt card for the January 2023 mid-month mini mission for the Mission Inspiration Facebook group. And I am going to glue this to the back of my tag. I'm just going to pull that glue stick out again. If you are watching this video and you have not seen or joined the Facebook group, go ahead and do that. It is super fun. We have been lucky enough to have 2 prompts given to us by Mike every month, a main mission and a mini mission. And here is my book ring. I'm just going to slide that through and close that down, and my tag is all done. Eventually, I will need to create a cover and probably a backing for it. But the first tag of 2023 is finished, and I love it. I hope you enjoyed watching me create this tag. If you have any questions, leave me a comment down below. I have added a couple of other videos here I think you might enjoy, as well as a subscribe button. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you did. Give me a thumbs up. Go check out the Facebook group and have a really fabulous day.